好，我们继续前进啊。上一段的最后我们拿到了猎枪，然后手上是有一些原稿碎片，可以把这个猎枪连升2级。第一个、第二个技能都比较实用。第一个是连续命中敌人啊，可以缩短每一枪的时间，也就是变相的增加射速吧。
Saga fired the rifle, hit the taken again, pulled back the bolt to reload. She fired again, another hit, faster, again, yet faster, again. A strange, lethal feedback loop forming, speeding up.
第二个是在瞄准的状态下站住不动，进入高度集中状态，可以增加猎枪的伤害。
Saga stood still, emptying her mind, focusing, breathing in, breathing out. She aimed the rifle, ready for the kill shot.
好，暂时先这样，然后给大家看一下这个技能呢，就是瞄准的时候站着别动，这样就触发高度集中状态了。差不多就是这样。这里我们在进门之前呢，先准备好信号火炬，前边会出来一个新敌人，这种上下2个头的敌人。然后它背后那个门呢是有一些黑暗物质，我们稍微往前一点点，等这个敌人稍微往前一点点，然后赶快扔出信号火炬，把前面这个门的黑暗物质照掉，就直接跑进来就可以了。这个位置也不需要再回来，那个敌人让他自己在这玩吧。好，进来之后，这里箱子打开。给了步枪弹药还不错，那就没有其他东西了。我们出来这边呢，就触发剧情了。这一段剧情很奇怪，没有字幕。然后这个托尔呢，他就被拽入到交界当中了。虽然没有字幕，我们依然还是能差不多听懂罗斯说，这个托尔安德森他是想帮助他，然后在一边帮助他，一边骂这个新夏 Viper。然后这里呢，进入这个亭子可以拿到1份原稿。
It's 1988, a face-off between deities on the rim of Cauldron Lake, high above its dark waters. Thunder roared, the old gods facing something even more powerful, something harder to define even. Or, changing the perspective, raving lunatics all, caught up in the frenzy of a shared delusion. The old gods, the corsairs of the Sea of Night, and the Dark One who yearned to stand in between, who had always stood in between, who would soon stand in between. We help you, you stay away from our family, Tor Anderson snarled over the thunder. Yes, until you all come to me, came the answer. That's never gonna happen, shouted Odin. I will take this as collateral, shall you remember our deal, said the Dark One. Blood arched from Odin's face as he fell to his knees. Lightning hit the dark figure on the cliff, and with that, he was gone. Tor rushed to his brother. Are you alright, bro? Effectively blind in that moment, the eye patch covering his left eye, his hand over the now empty socket of his right, blood oozing out of it. Odin cursed. The bastard took the wrong eye.
好，看完这份原稿之后呢，我们再去找罗斯交谈一下。
What was that? Where did Tor go?
What on earth do you mean, Saga? Tor is resting in the wellness center. Remember?
What? We both saw him go into the pond.
Okay.
Are you fucking with me? Or is this a story again?
Now. Let's cool it with the language.
She's clearly lying
这个
to
罗
me.
斯还在睁眼说谎。好，我们对他进行一个侧写。
Rose watched Tor go into the pond. Why is she lying to me?
The secret mission for Alan's #1 fan. The hero will say Wake has returned. We're all characters in his story. Gee whiz.
I'm not his fucking character. But I can use that phrase to make Rose stop lying to me. Wake has returned. Cynthia took Tor. What happened to her?
When the darkness touches your head, your bookshelf gets shuffled. I put her lamp in the shoebox. What do you call a lamp lady without her lamp?
Is Rose talking about Cynthia or herself? Or both?
哎，这边又开启新案件了，进入池塘。
Tor disappeared into the pond. It's another overlap. Has to be. How do I get inside?
它会帮助其他人。
Sure.
好，目前暂时就这么多线索，然后我们再跟罗斯交谈啊，骗他韦克回来了。大家注意他的这个表情啊。
Rose. Wake has returned.
Oh my god.
珍妮斯附体。
You're the hero! You're here to save Alan! I feel so silly for trying to keep you out of the wellness center. I locked Tor and Gale in there after they lost it, and I didn't want you getting hurt. Before I forget, here's the page Wake told me to give you. Oh, and you'll need my keys to get around.
Saga jabbed the selector on the jukebox, the missing record in its place. Saga couldn't have found it without Odin's help. A light bloomed in through the garden window.
The horror story beat me to Tor.
好，我们看一下这个原稿。
Saga jabbed the selector on the jukebox, the missing record in its place. Saga couldn't have found it without Odin's help. Standing there, Saga felt exposed, expecting the shadows to come alive. The needle crackled on the vinyl. The song swelled. Odin had said it was written for her and her mother. Her grandfather's apology. The lamentation of an old man. His heart was broken, sinking into darkness. Odin had said that the song would be a way to know Tor, a way to find him. A light bloomed in through the garden window. That's where Tor had vanished into the pond. Saga knew what she had to do.
啊，这边还可以对奥丁进行一下侧写。
The page mentions a missing record. Do you know where it is, Odin?
Driven by passion, raging like a storm. Your grandfather made the song to apologize to your mother, Freya, and to you. Tor's like a storm. Your mother did the right thing, leaving with you, even if it broke your grandfather's heart. And mine. Listen to the song, Saga. It's all there. Tor only had one record made. He keeps it in the museum.
Odin knows my mom's name. He's saying my mom took me away when I was still a baby. Plausible. Stay on task. The record is in the museum.
好，这边提到了唱片啊，想要进入交界的话，就需要用这个唱片。然后唱片在博物馆。 这边奥丁又提到了萨贾纳森的母亲。
The page says the record will open the overlap. Or is the page predetermining it? Am I just playing into the story?
好，那么这里先不要走啊，跟罗斯对话的话，还可以拿到一个线索。
What happened to Tor just now?
Cynthia took him. Ugh, I knew someone was messing with Tor's head. There's something wrong with the water here. Pipes acting up, black stuff coming out. Cynthia's probably behind that too.
Does Cynthia have any connection to the cult of the tree?
Oh no, she's way too frail for that. But she used to be this town's best defense against the forces of darkness. Well, after Alan. But I guess it finally got her.
Wake is in custody. How have you been in contact with him?
He leaves me messages in funny places, like the newspaper, books. Once he even wrote to me with a cloud. If it's something really important, he tells me in a dream.
Okay. And what does he say to you with these clouds?
Ways I can help him, how I can stay safe, good dinner recipes, ways to kill Taken, lots of stuff. I've been finding some pages of writing lately too, so he must be working on a new book. Exciting.
You need to get the residents out of here. It's not safe.
Oh, this kind of stuff rolls right off their backs. They've lived very rich lives. Very resilient. But I already told everyone to wait at the designated muster point on the front porch. We run drills every few months. I'm so proud of them.
I'm impressed by how prepared you are.
We're pretty used to this kind of thing.
You're the one leaving those Alex Casey lunchboxes around, aren't you?
Guilty. They were the only Alan-related containers I could find online. He told me to destroy the Taken around town, and I needed some way to stash my gear. I even recruited Mandy May to make knitwork decorations to mark the sites. The stashes are for you, too. You being the hero and all.
Thanks. I already have been. Wake tells you how to kill Taken?
Oh, sure. You're the hero, so you must know all about it. All you need is a strong light, and then your conventional methods of extreme violence. Simple stuff. The tough part is hiding the bodies.
I honestly don't know how to react to this.
Just doing my part, sister.
看来这个艾伦·韦克消失的13年，也就是失踪的13年里啊，真的是跟罗斯有联系。不管他是怎么联系的吧。然后告诉这个罗斯怎么对付黑暗俘虏，又怎么帮助那些消灭黑暗俘虏的人，也就是英雄们。这里可以证明他不是邪教徒。那之前我们已知的是，这个叫曼迪梅，他在放这个盒子，他不是放盒子的人，他是提供了针织品，真正放盒子的人就是这个便当盒是罗斯。
Alan Wake apparently told her to. I guess I owe her one.
好，那这边没什么事情了，我们准备前往博物馆去找唱片。前边有些人出去了啊。这边是瓦尔哈拉，除了托尔、奥丁，剩下的所有人，他们觉得里边不安全了，就都出来到这个安全的地方。这里可以跟他们进行交谈，但是没有线索。
You all should stay out here a while, until it's safe.
I'm happy to get out of that house. Isn't it strange that I've lived in Bright Falls my whole life and I can't remember this building?
The house has always been here, Norman. Remember when that poor Nora girl drowned in the bunker? Those Andersons got it so cheap because it's haunted. You get what you pay for.
Is there anyone who didn't show up?
A few. Archie, Gil, Cynthia.
If they aren't here by now, then they aren't coming. It's important to be punctual. On that topic, I'd like to point out that our nightly decaf coffee service is almost half an hour behind schedule.
Have any of you noticed anything odd about Ms. Weaver?
Just that Tor won't leave the poor woman alone. That brute wants one thing, and one thing only.
Cynthia's gotten downright bossy. Take a swim in the pond, Norman. Drink some water, Norman. Well, no one tells Norman MacDonald what to do.
Mandy May, are you all right? You're bleeding.
Oh, how did that happen?
Oh, no, Mandy May. Oh, no!
Oh, don't be a crybaby, Norman. It's nothing. I just poked my finger knitting this monster of a blanket.
啊，可以看到这个曼迪梅被织针给扎了手，然后满手都是血，还在这织，真执着。这边这个派特梅恩也可以跟他聊一下。
Hello there. Are you Pat Maine from the radio?
That's me. And you're the federal agent everyone's been talking about. Would you have time for an interview at some point?
Oh, sorry. I'm kind of in a hurry right now. Love your show, though. Very informative.
Thank you. Never compromise on quality. That's my motto. We'd be happy to have you on the show anytime, me and my listeners.
好了，那这边所有对话就结束了。接下来我们准备去这个疗养院的2楼。啊，这里可以拿到一份原稿。
Odin Anderson stirred in his bed, his vision hazy, smudged. He felt weighted down by an ocean of dark water. Through the haze, he made out Saga. Odin felt useless. He wished he could tell Saga how his silly faces made her smile when she was young. Too young to remember. Odin used to joke that Tor was her grandfather, but he was the Allfather. He smiled at the memory. Odin was the kinder of the Anderson brothers. Tor lacked patience, more volatile. The brothers fought a lot, but they were inseparable. Now Tor was missing, dragged into darkness. Odin could feel it. Time was running out for both of them.
啊，这个是安全屋，然后我们要找的房间呢，实际上就是这个，因为之前拿到了罗斯的遥控钥匙，可以把这扇门打开。啊，进来就可以看到这个唱片的封面的，这个是。
Anger's Remorse. This is the one. But it's gone. Cynthia has the record. She will tell me where to find it.
啊，这里很明显，这个唱片呢是被新夏拿走了，所以我们要对这个新夏做一个侧写。
Cynthia targeted Tor specifically. Why him?
Deal with the nasty Anderson fellow. His heart was broken. Cancelled. Leaks started appearing. It was too late. Shut her out of her own case.
The dark presence is using Cynthia to keep me from talking to Tor. Where is Angus Remorse now?
She is a young girl in love. A rock and roll cliche. The shadows to come alive. A gift. An on-off death wish.
She has the record. I can get it out of her. Angus Remorse. Where is it, Cynthia?
Drowned beneath dark water. Too many hands. The bathroom frightened her. Cut short. she screamed. And old folks careful.
The Angus Remorse record is in Cynthia's room, in her bathtub.
好，然后退出来呢，再对奥丁做一下特写。
Angus Remorse is missing. Who took it?
Our shame becomes the pale horse. Oh, Tor, bro. Tor's love for you is in that song. That's why Cynthia wants it, to ruin him. She made Tor lust after her. We fought one scratching hag years ago. Now he's fallen for another, and we might lose him for good. One less Anderson.
That isn't going to happen. Cynthia has Tor in the overlap. Angus Remorse is the key to get there. I need to make Cynthia reveal its location.
好，那么这边呢，我们把线索稍微整理一下。试图把唱片弄坏啊，放到自己浴缸里泡着，然后又勾引托尔。
A bathtub, a pond, a lake. There's a theme here.
好，那这个房间还有一份文件可以调查一下，这个字也比较多，我会翻的稍微快一点。OK， 那这样的话，这个2楼应该就没有什么东西了。接下来我们准备去3楼。啊，这个是曼迪梅的房间。好，开一下抽屉。哎，然后这里呢，我们可以看到阿提。
Do you know anything about the cult of the tree?
Yes, yes. He who reaches for a spruce tree will stumble into a juniper. Bloom was one of them. He has kicked empty. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. But I like his shoes.
How did you know Blum was part of the cult?
Oh, Fox never runs out of tricks. He's a crazy man, and he will show his ways. Bloom like to talk.
好吧，他这边也有一些抽屉可以打开。拿完东西之后呢，这个带有螺旋丸的房间啊，这个门我们一旦想打开它的话，然后会发现阿提瞬间就会出现在背后。
Time is long for those who wait, but in the end, stand the thanks.
Sheesh, didn't see you there.
然后说了一些莫名其妙的话。其实那扇门要到游戏的最后章节啊才可以打开。然后这个是诺曼的房间，那个抢戏王，他这个房间应该是什么都没有的啊，应该是什么都没有的。我们需要到对面这个房间，先使用一下遥控钥匙。这个是盖尔的房间啊，捕猎。好，进来之后呢，这边可以拿到一份原稿。
Wheeler set up a foundation with the sales of their greatest hits album. He used the cash to build a nursing facility. The old men deserved it. An old manor in Bright Falls. Wheeler hired a contractor to have it refitted as an old folks' care home. At this point, Wheeler felt good about himself. He had a heart of gold. No need to feel guilty. Wheeler left the work to the contractor and returned to New York City. He had done his part. It was time to turn over a new leaf. The contractors figured out Wheeler was gone for good. They took the money and ran. When the fall rains came, the lake started appearing.
好，那这个房间也没有任何东西了。最后呢，就是新下的这个房间。当我们接近这个房间，哎，整个瓦尔哈拉疗养院这边就停电了，想开门是开不了的。
No use crying in the dark place. What has been has gone. But trouble doesn't look like this. You can go to the basement and check the generator. But look out. You can never know in which tree the devil sits.
The basement. Thanks.
啊，这边阿提提醒我们啊，要去这个地下室，把电给它打开。好，这里我们准备好猎枪啊。这一段有敌人，虽然说可以不打啊，但是如果不打的话，一会儿回来这些敌人还在。首先就是这个瞬移的，哎，这个瞬移的敌人一旦照他的话，他会分裂的。哎，2枪没打死一个啊！啊，想接近我们的敌人可以优先打掉啊。好，这里还有一个饭盆子，哎，一枪喷死。我们还能回血啊！刚才被这个敌人给背后偷袭了，好躲一下。OK， 全部打掉。啊，其实地下室就在旁边，一路跑进来也可以，不过不建议大家这样做。一会儿回来啊，这边还有人，就是这些敌人你不杀的话，一会儿他们还在，还要打。好，把子弹全部上好啊。这个地下室看起来非常阴森，但实际上是没有任何敌人的。这里呢也是因为没有电进不去，等有电以后可以进去。好，我们暂时先往前走。这里暂时打不开。这有一份文件。啊，多买一点保险丝，这个是微币，微币不知道是谁。好，这里转过来呢有一份原稿。这一段原稿还比较多的。
Wheeler used to be the agent of a manic depressive celebrity writer, Alan Wake. Wake had various addictions on his back, an on-off death wish. Wheeler had seen a thing or two. Wheeler paid a lot of money for a good shrink. Got himself convinced that all the nightmares he'd seen leading up to Wake drowning himself were just his imagination. PTSD. Now he had pills to keep the shadows from his sleep. But the Andersons were something else. The nightmares were starting to creep in again. Or maybe it was the drugs in the air. Wheeler hoped it was the drugs. The Andersons were so old. Vampires. After every gig and the party that followed, took them weeks to bounce back. And they never did completely. Each time Wheeler expected them to croak.
啊，看完文件，我们继续往里边走。这边我们拿到保险丝之后，会回到这个房间。好，拿一下箱子里的东西。这个门现在应该是打不开的。
Must be locked from the other side.
啊，是一个反锁。这里过来有一份文件，这个是也是微币，不知道是谁。然后让罗斯去把那个保险丝给藏起来，然后说密码就在洗衣间。好，拿到一些猎枪弹药还不错。哎，继续往里边走，这里还有一份原稿。
Emmett Elwood had had enough. All his life, he'd been surrounded by the same small-minded, impolite, ignorant people in town. Their endless gossip, their nose-picking, chewing food with their mouths open, not washing their hands after visiting the restroom, and touching things. Touching everything. The world was going to hell. He'd watched day after day how all the nice things in life in Bright Falls were spoiled and ruined forever. There would be a just and terrible reckoning. Emmett had imagined many times how he'd make them pay. He had lovingly tended his anger, made it grow hotter. It was out in the open now. Ugly and slobbering, they reached at him with their unwashed hands. He'd beat them down, beat them until they no longer moved. And then he'd wash his hands with a strong antibacterial disinfectant.
接下来我们从这个位置钻过来。这里就是一个非常重要的位置了。这里有一个放映机，不过现在没电是看不了的。好，这儿有一份文件可以看一下。然后这个箱子呢，它是带有密码锁的。这个密码我知道啊，但是，给大家看一下这个密码在哪儿。我们先出来，这里有一份原稿。
Cynthia Weaver had always kept her lantern close. Someone in the bathroom with her. In the dark. Dark water pressed itself into her. She screamed. Cynthia Weaver hated being old. She'd been a doer, a fighter. Now the bathroom frightened her, afraid she'd break her hip, like Norman. Cynthia had always kept her lantern close, to hold the darkness at bay. Oh dear, my lantern. I think I've lost it, Cynthia said. This will put a smile back on your face, my dear, a voice said. A man's voice. Someone in the bathroom with her, in the dark. The light bulb had blown. She meant to replace it days ago. How could she forget? She had slipped getting out of the tub. She lay in the tub now. She lifted her hand. It looked wrong. Too many hands. In a black void with no sense of up or down, she was underwater. A dark shape pushed her down. Dark water pressed itself into her. She screamed. It came out in bubbles.
这里就是说，辛西娅被黑暗俘虏黑暗魅影给俘虏的全过程。这里右边有东西。这个步枪弹药非常好。然后呢，再继续往里边走，这里就可以找到密码了。这个密码是273。右边也没什么东西，我们直接回去把那个箱子开了。好，拿到保险丝之后呢，我们还要去装一下。这边这扇门应该是可以打开的。这个就是之前的反锁。在这里装一下保险丝。然后稍微整理一下身上的物品吧。这个电池着实有点多。这发弓箭就没必要了，直接丢掉，暂时先这样。然后我们再回去，刚才不是说有电以后才能看一个影片吗？不是这里，不小心直接钻过来了，还回不去了。那就只能再走一遍了。
Is this something they watch on movie night? That looks just like Casey. What the hell is going on?
这个影片也是莫名其妙，看不懂。好，那接下来我们就原路返回。哎，这里注意看啊，看到了吧？刚才新夏就在这儿飘着。啊，顺手把这扇门打开。啊，这里的物资还不少。哎，然后这里刚才那些敌人没打掉的话，在这儿最好打掉，不然等一会儿装唱片的时候，这些人有可能会进入到房间，然后房间里边又会刷那个双头怪，打起来就比较麻烦了。好，那么这边有电之后呢，我们就直接前往3楼新夏的房间。啊，这一段突脸比较多啊，前边基本上都是高能。啊，进来之后有些东西可以调查一下，比如说这边的照片，这些全都是1代的场景，这个是1代的发电厂。
A power station. Everyone needs a hobby, I guess.
然后这个是1代新西亚的形象。
Was Cynthia using it for protection? Did she know about the dark presence?
啊，这个是灯泡屋，里边全都是灯泡啊。当初1代的时候，艾伦就是在这儿拿到的神奇开关。
I feel like I'm missing some context here.
这边是汤马士·赞恩和芭芭拉·杰格。这个新西亚他是非常讨厌这个芭芭拉·杰格，他认为这个芭芭拉·杰格配不上汤马士，其实他就是暗恋的。啊，旁边这里还有一个礼品盒，可以调查一个线索。
Tours are romantic, huh?
这个是托尔送给新西亚的礼物。啊，这边这个照片也可以调查。
A dam? Was Cynthia into civil engineering?
这个水坝也是1代的场景。这边还有一份文件。啊，这里也可以收集到一个线索。
The dark presence uses people's memories, their fears to corrupt them.
好，那么这边出现了特写，但是进屋之后，这里还可以拿到一份原稿。
Cynthia would deal with the nasty Anderson fellow, Tor, always poking people with his hammer. He had it coming.
好，我们把这些整理一下。首先是看一下这份原稿。
Cynthia Weaver smiled. Lost without her lantern? Nonsense. Cynthia felt as giddy as a young girl in love. Cynthia had loved Thomas Zane. Tom only had eyes for Barbara. Barbara was bad news. Tom had seen it in the end. Cynthia had been there to comfort him. And when he left, Cynthia waited. Years of waiting. Now Tom had come back to her. They'd be together now. See the world. She'd always dreamed of seeing New York. They were there now in a fancy hotel. She drew a bath. She would become like Barbara. No, better. She sank into dark water, into Tom. Tom had enemies plotting against him. Cynthia would deal with the nasty Anderson fellow, Tor, always poking people with his hammer. He had it coming. Anything for Tom.
好，这里再对辛西娅做一个侧写。
Cynthia was close to someone named Thomas Zane. Who is he?
Tom was back. Tom had enemies. In a fancy hotel. Just his imagination. The nightmare started to creep in. Cynthia Weaver smiled.
An old flame. Maybe Tom was taken.
好，再来整理一下线索。
Tor is not becoming a taken, but Cynthia is definitely corrupting him. Trying to keep him away from me?
好，那么这边线索就齐了。回头我们把浴缸里边这个黑暗物质给它照掉，然后就可以拿到唱片了。
Anger's Remorse by Old Gods of Asgard. I need to play it in the jukebox.
The 好，那么拿到唱片之后呢，正常来说我们去1楼那个点唱机播放一下，然后交界就会出现了。但是进入交界之后呢，还有非常长的一段，所以我们在这儿存个档。那本期节目就暂时先到这里了，感谢各位同学们的收看，咱们下期节目再见。